And welcome back to Low Country Live. Today we are talking to divorce coach Debbie Martinez from Transformation Through Divorce and how a divorce coach is different from a therapist. Tell us about that, Debbie. And do you get into diagnosing this divorce that these people are going through?
No. So with therapy, a person will go, they'll have specific problems, and the therapist might diagnose what the problem is. Or if it's really deep seated, right? Maybe there's some past sexual issues, really deep seated past family issues. A therapist will deal with those. As a coach, there is no diagnosis that goes into it. You don't come to me looking for a diagnosis. You're going through a divorce, and yes, you have divorce related emotions. And yes, I will deal with that, but there's no diagnosis involved. And another thing that a coach does that a therapist doesn't do is we address different things. So I am going to actually address, this is where you are in the divorce process. These are the next steps that you can expect. And now how are we going to handle and come up with a game plan for those next steps? So I'm not an attorney, I'm not a therapist, so I'm somewhere in between because I do deal with divorce and I do know what is going to come down the pike. And so I work specifically with that. And again, along with the normal emotions, nothing deep seated.
When you have a client that calls you going through the divorce, do you set up different goals? And I remember in one of the other segments we talked about, you actually give them homework. And what do the goal setting and the homework, what does that do for your client?
So it's really important, and there's a couple reasons why I give homework and goal setting is because it keeps them feeling like they're moving forward, right? They're not coming into my office every week and rehashing what happened during the week and rehash what happened the week before or rehashing what caused the divorce. What's happening now? And now we need to get from point A to point B. So you're going to have goals, specific goals to get from point A to point B, and you're going to have homework. So it keeps them on track. It keeps them accountable. They know that they have to get this homework done before the next session. And what it does is it keeps them with that forward mobility. They don't feel like they're hanging back in the past. And that's why I give goals and homework.
Do you address a number of issues with your client? Because I'm sure the client, male or female, but the client is going through all of these different emotional things. What sort of different items that you address with your client?
So a huge thing, especially for women, and I'm speaking about women because yes, I do get men, but it's only a handful. With women, it's a whole sundry of emotions and issues that they come with. So some of them will be self-esteem, right? Self-esteem and self-worth for women in a divorce is huge, especially if there's been infidelity. So for me not to address self-esteem and work on some self-esteem issues with them, I would be remiss not to do that. Now, if their self-esteem issues stem back from when they were 6 years old and abandoned by their dad, that's a therapy issue. That's no longer an emotional divorce issue. And then I would recommend them to a therapist.
A lot of issues come up, that's for sure. When a client does give you a call, right now, of course, we're doing the social distancing and so forth. You're able to do Zooms like this and also phone calls in between different sessions or for their sessions.
So I have some clients that are perfectly happy just to have a conference call. I prefer to see the person because I like to feel that we're connecting. And when you see someone, you're connecting. And since we can't do it in person, we can do it over Zoom. And they have my number, they have my cell number, and they are able to get in touch with me between sessions. So another thing is that's different between myself and a therapist is I will give a full hour of undevoted workable time, not 50 minutes and then I'm working on notes for 10 minutes. When I work on my notes, that's my time and I don't charge for that. And also a lot of things, Tom, come up between sessions. And my clients, anybody going through a divorce is going to stress during that gap of time between when they left the session and when they have the next one. And they need to be able to talk to somebody in between sessions. And so for me as a coach, that's another difference, is they have my cell and they can call me in between sessions, and we might not have a full session, but I can possibly alleviate a concern that they have. And then they're not stressing out.
Some really great information. We're out of time. How do people get a hold of you if they need your help?
They can email me at debbie@transformationthroughdivorce.com or call 305-984-5121.
Always a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks.